Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and I'm going to try something different today. I'm just going to do a little bit of a voiceover while I'm training, so that way you guys don't have to look at my face as much, which is, probably a big plus for this channel. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs a break from this face once in a while. So yeah, you see it a little bit in the training footage, but I'm going to try to minimize that as much as possible. Maybe I'll blur it out at some point. I don't know. But anyway, what I'm going to talk about today is muscular tension and how we have this crazy thing going on ever since social media started 10 years ago or so. What happened was we got these obsessive compulsive people out there thinking that you have to overstretch the muscle belly in order to get any result, meaning the muscle just will not adapt and not get stronger if it's not in a fully stretched state during, exercises such as like squats and stuff. Like if you're not doing ass to the grass, you're not going to gain any muscle. Or if you are not locking out your arms on the pull-up, then you're somehow cheating. You know what I'm saying? Just this stupid shit. So basically, the funny thing is what I found is that the opposite was true in order to gain muscle. And what I mean by this is that I found if you use too much of a range of motion, you actually get less muscular gains, because what happens is that you'll get a certain amount of muscular tension on the muscle as you stretch. And then there's a point to where you go down so far, it becomes just awkward. And then the body has to fight through the awkwardness to perform the exercise. And that's not necessarily going to create more muscular tension in the muscle you want to hit. That's the whole point. So I always get people saying, hey, why don't you do full range of motion? Well, look at this. This is pretty much full range of motion. I can't actually go down any lower because my rear delts hit the pad of the bench and my tricep, okay? Because the bench is a certain amount of width. And then when I bring the dumbbells all the way up, there's a point to where once you straighten the arms, you're actually giving yourself a little bit of a rest. Now, in this case, I'm basically, supinating the dumbbells. So therefore, I'm trying to bring them in just a little bit. But as you notice, if I bring them over my face, that's going to do nothing because there's no tension there, right? Gravity goes up and down. You know what I'm saying? So if I bring the dumbbells together above my face, really what I'm doing is giving my muscles a rest. Perhaps I'm working other areas just to stabilize, you know what I'm saying? But I'm taking that tension off the chest where I want to hit. And of course, I'm doing a hybrid type fly situation here. I'm not doing a full fly because I find when I straighten my arms and do a fly, that's super hard on the bicep tendons and also the delts. Which is also a weak link for me because of the dislocating shoulder I have from a hockey injury, not from a gym injury. I don't have any gym injuries. All my injuries happen from sports outside the gym, from collisions and shit, right? So I guess that's why you don't really, or at least I don't recommend people to do high velocity, high impact sports if they really want to specialize in being bodybuilders, because there's always that risk of injury and stuff, which could sideline your career quite, in a quite an extreme way, you know what I'm saying? So you have to really choose where you want to put your energy. And most of us don't have that wisdom at an earlier age, but hey, life's an adventure. Sometimes you make mistakes and they turn out to be the perfect thing. So don't worry about it. When I dislocated my shoulder, it totally changed my paradigm of my life. So yeah, maybe it led me down a better path. So hey, rainbows and sunshine, you know what I'm saying? It's not all bad. It's not all bad. So with the bent over row here, I still get the standard sort of stuff from people, and I highly recommend you watch my video called The Most Misunderstood Exercise. It is so important that you watch this if you're not understanding my bent over row yet, because what the point of the bent over row is to hit that back. But if you're bending over too much, a lot of times your lower back will hit failure long before your lats or your upper back does. And nobody can say that my back isn't decently developed, okay? So the retracting of those shoulder blades is one of the most important things in order to access that back. And I get a lot of back development from bent over rows doing them this way. And I do dumbbell varieties as well. And as you guys saw in my 5 exercises for natural bodybuilders for back training, I just put that up. So make sure you check that out if you haven't seen it. So really what my point is of this video is to realize that tension is important, but not to get too obsessed to whether you're a millimeter in this direction or an extra 5 degrees in that direction in your range of motion. It's more about what do you feel helps you be able to contract the muscle as strong as possible and get the stretch in that muscle belly, but not in the tendons. Once you start to stretch too much on a certain muscle group, you're going to notice that all the tension goes into the muscular insertion point and not in the muscle belly. If you have awareness, which I've noticed is in extreme lack with a lot of the people that are, trolling me anyway, I'm going to say if you don't have any body awareness, this is probably why you don't understand what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. But if you can understand that when you use a more extreme range of motion, you start to feel the tendons, right? Like if I stretch you enough, I'll snap something if I stretch you enough, right? We all know, like that's jujitsu. If I stretch you too much, you're going to snap. So obviously there's a happy medium in range of motion where you're going to get the most amount of power, most amount of contractile energy through that muscle belly, and the least amount of energy that's going to be, let's just say, in the wrong area that can be an impending injury in any moment, right? If I constantly put you in an arm bar in jiu-jitsu and just yank on your elbows, you could say, oh yeah, that's going to strengthen my elbows up. No, it's not. Not if I'm challenging you with the tension. If I put too much tension on there, you're just going to snap something, and that's not going to help your bodybuilding career whatsoever. So in this way, I play around with tension, right? I play around with it. You're basically a scientist of tension. Right? So right now, see, I'm just contracting right now just for fun because I'm doing, first of all, bent over lateral raises with external rotation on purpose to hit the upper traps as well as the rotator cuff. And now I'm just pumping out some extra sets or extra reps anyway on the rear delts. So that way I can pump them right into failure. So sometimes you can do an isolation movement and then just change the angle and take that set into a deeper level of failure. So this is kind of like a pre-exhaustion method, but it's all in the same set. Like I'm not even moving to a different exercise. I'm basically staying right in the same position and then taking advantage of just getting a few extra reps to pump those rear delts up and get that pumpy and lumpy look, So yeah, once you start to break free of this dogmatic thinking like, oh, if you don't do it this way or don't do it that way, then you're doing it all wrong. No, go by the feeling. Feel your body, go by the feeling, and the body will teach you the truth. Not some idiot on the internet or on Reddit that's basically telling you that, hey, if you don't do it this way, then, according to this book that I read somewhere, it means nothing. It means nothing. So anyway, guys, I hope this helps out in your training. I hope this helps you free your mind and become even better as a natural bodybuilder. And take care for now. Mountain.